guys? Welcome back to another quick movie review. Going to be a little bit quicker than the Shazam one with myself and Alex. Unfortunately, weren't able to get John in on this one as he's got some personal stuff going on, getting ready for some big changes. But a couple weeks ago, I guess now, Alex and I went out and watched the newest addition to the Pokemon franchise, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Going to kind of give some thoughts on that and just go from there.
Well, like I said, I'm a little bit older, so it's been a hot minute before I've been anywhere near the Pokemon universe.
Yeah.
But I will say that for this movie, it definitely brought back nostalgia for like the classic Pokemon.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it wasn't that bad of a job introducing like a quote-unquote live-action version of Pokemon into
No, the CGI in it was phenomenal, and it's one of a few video game movies coming out. For those that didn't know, this is actually based on the Detective Pikachu video game, and I think this is probably the only one that looks that good, and it's the only video game movie that I've seen that I think was that good of a movie. It's not like I didn't like Assassin's Creed or Prince of Persia, but I felt like as far as basing it off a video game, this was by far the best done video game adaptation for a movie.
Yeah, I think the last video game adaptation, which doesn't hold up now, that I really like was Mortal Kombat. And that was honestly like the last one I really liked. I wasn't a big fan of Assassin's Creed. I wasn't a big fan of Warcraft.
We're talking about the same Mortal Kombat movies,
oh,
right?
yeah, like Liu Kang and Christopher Lambert as Raiden. Oh, yeah.
Those were so bad.
But I grew up in that era, so at that time it wasn't that bad.
Dude.
It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't hold up now.
Oh, no. I think it's the second one from that's got like the worst movie line in history.
Oh, yeah, the second one's completely terrible.
Yeah, the first one will give you way better. The second one, it really went down. We're not here to talk about Mortal Kombat as much as I could talk about how bad that was. Like I said, Detective Pikachu, I thought, as far as a video game adaptation, was by far the most well-done movie that I've seen.
And I think after seeing this, and like studios are going to look at this and say, okay, it's not so much of a taboo. We could do it now.
Yeah, we could pull off a live-action Pokemon now after they see that.
Oh, yeah. And I think they definitely left it open in this world to where they can go back and visit it.
I think they could. I don't know exactly what they would do with it, but there's some possibility still in like just the Detective Pikachu stuff. But
yeah, I haven't played the game, so I'm kind of out of that realm.
Oh, but same, dude. I've looked into it just to see, does it match the game? But yeah, I haven't actually played it either.
See, and I also don't know if it continues on in the game. Like, is there like a sequel to this game or?
Not that I know of. As far as I know, it's just one game.
Okay. See, I kind of wish in the movie they would have had like maybe like a tiny Easter egg or like something on a map that had like the layout of what the land looked like, but in like a big
region they might be in.
Yeah, like a region, but then like in like a corner somewhere, put Pallet Town.
Yeah.
Or something that referenced Ash Ketchum a little bit more.
Yeah. Something just to throw like a little Easter egg in there.
Yeah, just like, hey, for you older people that may have not have played Detective Pikachu, here's this for you.
Yeah. I don't know. From the other video game movies that are coming out, obviously everybody has seen what's going on with Sonic.
Yeah.
I've heard they're fixing it. Like, the director has straight up come out and been like, we hear your issues, we're going to go back and we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
But from what we've seen, I don't know how you could have one that understands how to make essentially an animal that was animated into live action, and then you take what they did with Sonic, and they tried to make him look human, and he's not. And it was just all kinds of wrong.
See, I wonder what else is coming out that's a video game.
I know there's one other because there's like 3 of them this year that are coming out, but I can't remember what the last one is. I think it's one that most people might not realize was a video game, kind of like Detective Pikachu was.
So we have Sonic.
Oh no, there's a new Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider 2.
Out. That's what it is. And then Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then that Call of Duty one got in production along with a Minecraft pre-production.
Okay. I thought Detective Pikachu was super well done. I mean, the story in it alone was phenomenal. I mean, there were quite a few twists and turns that I can't really say you see coming unless you've played the game. Like, if you've
No,
played it, obviously, you're going to know everything
you're
about
definitely
it.
right. The plot in this one was simple. It was very simple, but had a couple twists in it that
Oh,
you
yeah.
wouldn't have seen coming.
No.
But one of the things that I really liked was its simplicity. That they
Oh,
were
yeah.
able to keep it simple.
They had a super straightforward plot in it, and you knew what was coming with it. Like,
Oh yeah,
but those twists in it, like I said, unless you've played the game, and even then, some of them might have caught you off guard just because it is slightly different. I'll get into that in a little bit with it. But overall, I mean, it was a phenomenal movie,
oh
especially
yeah.
if you're a Pokemon fan. I myself am. I've watched every animated series up until Sun and Moon, just because I don't like what they did animation wise on it. That's the only reason I won't touch it. And yes, I even suffered through Black and White, as horrible as Black and White was.
See, I think my last Pokemon show was the original, and then last
Oh.
movie that I watched was
Dude, I've watched
not
like
2000, but what's the one? Mewtwo Returns. Mewtwo Returns was the last one I watched.
oh, that's a fairly new one.
No, this one was back whenever I had the VHS hardcover still.
Did they have a second one then? They might
Yeah,
have.
it was like a sequel to 2000.
Okay. I've seen all of them. I'm that guy. I've watched all of them. But I get online and I enjoy Pokemon. I understand it's super cheesy as far as anime goes. Like, but it's a little kid. He's supposed to be friggin' 10. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be somewhat cheesy, and I get that. There are times where I'm watching it where I'm like, okay, really? But at the same time, like, I understand what it's here for. It's not
Yeah.
for people our age. It's for people like Max and Kara's age, you know,
Oh,
the
yeah.
younger kids out there. But growing up on it, I've just always enjoyed it. And I don't know. I could go on about like some of the anime stuff, but the movie itself I thought stood out great as far as what they've done previously with Pokemon stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's what I keep harking on the plot. Like, it may have been super simple, even with a couple of twists thrown in there, but man, they executed almost 100% on like hitting all the marks they needed to.
oh yeah.
Like, there's a few stumbles that I can get into here in a little bit that like I'm nitpicking it for, knocking it down on, but that necessarily wasn't the director's fault. I don't
No.
think.
I think it's just what it was. I don't think it was anything they did. I think it's just what the movie was. There's going to be some things to harp on.
Yeah. But we can get into some spoiler talk. We'll give you like 3 seconds. We can.
Well, just getting into how it kind of some of the difference between it and the video game, just real quick. And they're not even major ones. Like, from what I've read, most people are like, it was about as good as you could have done it from the video game. Like, the few changes they made, everybody has said you had to make it a movie.
So it benefited the
Yeah.
adaptation.
They're like, if
Okay.
you kept it strictly as a video game, it wouldn't have made sense in the movie.
That makes sense.
There were, in the game, you had, like, puzzles and stuff you would have to solve, and they're like, in the movie, it just wouldn't make sense. It's fun for gameplay, not for a movie.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that happens with Mewtwo is a little bit different. It's not exactly how it happens in the movie, but again, they're like, it made for a better plot movie-wise. And
Right.
then the main thing that you might not put together at the start, essentially how it ends was still the same, though.
See, I thought you told me they left it ambiguous in the
They
video game.
did. If you've watched the movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched it, then you'll get it. But the way it ends in the movie is much more confirmed. Actually, it is fully confirmed on what
Yeah.
happens. And the game technically left it open. Almost like they could have done a second one, but it was hinted at like super hard from what everybody has said that you pretty much knew it was confirmed, but they didn't actually want to confirm it.
They just wanted to make sure that cash cow worked, so they didn't end their thing.
Essentially, yeah.
Nice.
But, yeah, I mean, a couple seconds here will give you... Not going to delve in too much into plot. We did that too much with Shazam.
Yeah, we're working on fixing our review style, as you want to
But-
call it.
We'll get into some spoiler stuff. Just some big points in it here in a couple seconds.
1, 2, 3. Spoiler talk.
I guess, like I said, with the video game, and this is a huge spoiler for the movie, in the video game, they left it open on whether his dad was actually Pikachu. In
Right.
the movie, we know it's confirmed. That's the biggest thing. Some people were like, that was a major difference, is that it actually confirmed it as opposed to what the game did. But again, you needed to for movie's sake.
Yeah, that's like what the third out of the three twists. That's like the last one that they pull. Yeah.
Yeah. Earlier, I mean, most of the plot is pretty straightforward, you know, and you see it in the trailers. You know, the main dude, Justice Smith, doesn't want a Pokemon. He's not for it. Runs into the city because he's told his dad dies. Is like, okay, I'm gonna go check his stuff out. Runs into Pikachu, and the plot develops from there. That's just a quick, super short cliff notes on what's going on with it.
That's also where one of my biggest harks was whenever he got into the city. I'm looking up the guy's name right now, and
which one?
The police detective.
Okay.
Like he's in Godzilla. He's the one that says "Let them fight."
Okay, what's your issue with him? I guess
my issue is that whenever you get introduced, like they've kept it relatively calm with like introducing you to like Pokemon at the beginning. Like see the Cubone, you see the Pidgey and the Sparrows, but this is like the first human interaction with the Pokemon, and his Snubble interaction. And it's not the director's fault. I think it's the CGI person, or maybe the actor didn't realize how big this Pokemon was. His interactions with Snubble seemed either robotic or he wasn't sure how big this thing was supposed to be, and he was just kind of like guessing.
So there was just a little something about his movements, not like the character himself, just some of the interaction.
The interaction, like you could completely tell that he didn't have anything to go off of, like on the green screen, to tell how big this thing was, and that was my problem with it. And like I have one other nitpick, but that was one of the ones that I noticed right off the bat. I was like, they didn't give him anything to like cue how big this thing was.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if there's much. One of the nitpicky things I want to bring up, and it's just going to be the way it is because you're trying to turn this into something that looks real. I hated the way Greninja looked, and I am a huge fan of him in the game. He looks awesome. As soon as you make that tongue lifelike, it looks bad.
See, you're nitpicking that one. My nitpick is whenever they were in the fighting ring, whenever you see the Charizard fight with Pikachu. Well, there's a Gyarados that shows up, and the Gyarados out of water did not look right.
Out of water, I'll give you. A lot of people, though, other than the fact that it was out of water, they're like, he looked about as scary as you would expect.
Oh yeah, he looked like his menacingness was there. It's just like they tried to put like a water layer over him and made him look shiny.
Yeah,
it looked awkward, and like I almost would have wished they wouldn't have put water on him just to like have him there.
Yeah, just have him there, kind of dry, because the Magikarp was dry.
Yeah, and like I guess when he evolved out of water. I don't know.
That is one thing I'll give you as well. Gyarados looked a little weird. Overall, he wasn't bad. It made sense, most of it, but that water layer was weird. Greninja, though, the concept of it, because of what Greninja is, he's essentially a frog ninja.
Right.
That his tongue is a scarf for him.
Yeah.
And as soon as that becomes not just a solid, like, red-looking scarf, it's weird.
Yeah, that pinkish, fleshy color. Yeah.
It's never going to be anything they can fix. It's just going to be the way it is. He's not one that translates well into looking real.
Okay, quick question. What Pokemon do you think translated the best in CGI? Besides Pikachu, because Pikachu looked great.
Honestly, they did him phenomenally.
Because Pikachu, you couldn't even tell that was CGI in my opinion.
Mewtwo looked good, but Mewtwo's not a hard one to do.
No.
He's honestly going to be one of the easiest.
I like that they gave him more human features.
A lot of people had issues with Mr. Mime, but again, he's already human-like as it is, so I'm going to steer away from him, because I honestly thought he looked good. He looked creepy like he's supposed to.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say Torterra.
Ah, there you go. That's the one I was going to say. Torterra looked great.
And I understand, like, they shut some stuff down in it. I hate that they shut down the Torterra Garden, though, because when you see that in there, I saw it happen, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you see it, and you're like, holy crap, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. They looked great, though. Like, they looked like huge kaiju, like, Godzilla-esque monsters.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome what they did with him. Honestly, thought Apom looked phenomenal too. Apom looked so good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was weird when they had like the purple stuff affecting him because then it's like, oh, he's not supposed to be that freaky looking.
Yeah.
But I understand they had to for the plot. He was supposed to look weird.
Yeah, I think like
overall though they looked great. Some people had issues with Jigglypuff just because you know they're supposed to be further, but you've never seen it, so it's weird to see Jigglypuff with hair. But you also understand that Jigglypuff is supposed to have hair.
See, I kind of like the non-hair. I think it would have looked too cartoony.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people thought it was weird. Like, we understand it's supposed to in the cartoon, but you're not going to put it on it because, well, it looks better just to have a pink ball. But translating that to real looking is just wrong if you left it like that.
See, one of the things when the pack of Bulbasaurs that show up after the Torterras,
they also look good.
They looked great, but man, they changed the sound that a Bulbasaur makes. It's more high pitched, and I didn't like that part of it. That was the only thing I didn't like out of them.
It was also because was Pikachu the only one that actually said his name still?
No, Pikachu's the only one that could talk.
Yeah, I knew that. But, like, even after they separate him and Dad, he still said, Pikachu.
It's Pika Pika.
Yeah, well, I mean, depending how long his phrase is.
Well, no, they showed it earlier. Remember whenever Justice Smith's, like, freaking out, can anyone hear this thing? And, like, that woman comes up, and he's like, Justin Smith's hearing what actually is being said to him, and he's like, oh, you're so cute, da, da, da. And Pikachu the whole time is like, yeah, she's not understanding a word I'm saying, kid. And, like, what the girl's hearing is the Pika Pika, and that sounded like the traditional Pikachu.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure because in games now they've started doing it where he actually says Pika Pika in the video games, but he's the only one. So I couldn't remember if he was the only one in the movie that could say his own name or if the rest of them also spoke with their own names. Because the rest of them didn't really say anything. Jigglypuff did, but Jigglypuff is using Sing, so I'm not even going to bring that one in.
You know what? I don't know if... I know Greninja didn't say his name, I know Charizard didn't, and I know Gyarados didn't, but I can't remember if Bulbasaur just made like a grunt noise.
That's what I think they did.
I think he went like, ah!
Yeah.
I think that's what he did.
To where I'm pretty confident Pikachu's the only one in it, other than obviously any telepath, which is what Mewtwo is, that actually said their name.
Speaking of that, I loved Mewtwo's... whoever played Mewtwo instead of that other twist, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh,
his original voice
was
great.
Good. Yeah.
And I liked the telepathy aspect of it to where it kind of echoed a little bit, if that's the best way to describe it. And that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Mewtwo as a whole was done super well. You didn't see what was coming with him though because
they hit that very well.
They did. That was and even like, they don't even really show it in the commercials. Like, you see him in the commercials for it, or the trailers, whatever you want to call them, and you're like, okay, Mewtwo's the bad guy. But that's not really what's going on.
I honestly, from the trailers, thought this was like a reimagining of, like, Pokemon 2000.
Something kind of like it, yeah.
To where he was, like, capturing, like, his dad figured out that Mewtwo was capturing him and cloning him to turn him evil.
Yeah, something like that.
That Mewtwo kidnapped his dad. Oh, no, that's nowhere near where this goes.
I don't want to spoil that one because I think that... I mean, I understand I spoiled the biggest point, but I don't want to spoil too much. I'll leave that one unspoiled for them.
Okay.
I highly recommend this movie. I mean, if we're rating it, I'm going to give this one, like... I don't want to give it too high because there were some issues in it. I'll give it, like, a 8 out of 10. Just because there were definitely things I was like, it could have been better. It could have had a more complex story. But overall, it was super enjoyable.
Yeah, I was around like the 8.2 area, so I'll go with an 8.2.
Okay.
Like in my like initial thoughts of it, I was around there. So
if you haven't seen it, it probably won't be out too much longer because we are in summer months where a lot of movies are starting to come out. So I recommend getting to see it if it's still there once this video's up.
Yeah.
If not, Redbox it, Netflix it, whatever it's on. Highly recommend watching. If you didn't go opening weekend, you might not have gotten the cards that came with it. But,
True.
that only huge collectors are probably going to be, concerned about that. So if you're not super into like the trading card game, you're not going to care about the cards. I don't really have much more to say other than go watch it. It's a good
No,
movie.
yeah, like we may have dogged like this is the discussion. We're talking about the parts that we didn't like, but film's subjective. Like you can think that the things worked whenever we didn't think they worked.
Yeah, anything art-wise is subjective, whether it's
yeah.
film, photography, TV shows, shoot, even music. I mean, obviously my taste is not the popular taste out there in music, so it's all what you're into. If you're not a Pokemon fan, I'm not going to say then you should go watch it because you're probably going to be super bored.
True.
But if you're just looking for a good kids movie and you enjoy Pokemon at least a little bit even, you should watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Good movie.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But hey, out there in the comment section, comment on what your favorite Pokemon was that you've seen or just your favorite in general.
Yeah.
Which one's yours?
If we're going from the movie, I still have to stick... I'm going to stick with Torterra. Normally, I would have said Greninja because I'm a huge fan of his, but I can't get past the look of him live action-wise. So I'm going to go Torterra from the movie. If we're going all of them ever made, I'm going to do two different things. If we're going all of them straight up Darkrai.
Oh, of course. I knew that.
I'm super emo at heart. He's like the ultimate emo Pokemon. Darkrai, hands down. But if we're getting rid of legendaries, because I know a lot of people think when they ask that a legendary is a cop-out, I have to stick with Blaziken.
Nice. Let's see. From the movie, mine's Charizard, and from all the Pokemon,
There's probably a lot you might not even know.
Dude, no, I'm totally thinking Gen 1s. Go
all of them, so like if there's a legendary, that's good, and then non-legendary.
Definitely for the movie Charizard. My legendary pick's gotta be Lugia. I love Lugia, the Guardian.
Okay.
And then
so Gen 2 on that one.
Oh yeah. And then I really like I'm trying to think what gen he's in.
Which one? Because I could probably tell you the generation it's in.
I can't think of his name. I can see it.
What typing?
Let's just go with Magneton. I really liked Magneton anyway.
Really?
Magneton. He seems like he should be more powerful than what he actually is.
I'll give you that. He's not bad. I don't know. He's just not my favorite, like, as far as looks go. He's a very, like, useful one as far as your team goes. Like, electric steel type, great. But, I don't know, look-wise, I just never got into him. I thought it was too simple of a look.
Yeah, but that's why they gave him that, like, that third evolution in Magnezone.
Yeah. All right. Let us know what your favorites are. Movie, whether you're talking all of them, and then non-legendary, because I know a lot of people think that's a cop-out, so we're going to give us those three if you've seen the movie. If you haven't watched the movie, just give us those two, because, again, people think legendaries are cop-outs because, they're super powerful, and most of them are kind of BA looking. That's why I went with Blaziken for my other one. Greninja's close second. I'm just a really big fan of, like, the somewhat fighting-esque ones. Like, you take something that doesn't look like it's supposed to be a fighting type and you make it a fighting type. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But this is JC Radio signing out.
Peace.